2025 meeting of the Longmeadow Select Board. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, you know what? I need to get my script. Sorry. Everyone set.
Thank you.
I'm out of practice.
Can you talk louder, please?
I will do my best. Well, Mike, I only have a script from 2023.
I got one here.
Who's Mike?
This is Select Board Chair Josh Levine. I will be confirming that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dan Zwerka.
Here.
Andrew Lamb.
Here.
Shelley Maynard DeWolf.
Here.
Beneath Hamabathy.
Here.
Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Lynn Simmons.
Here.
Mike Barbieri.
Here.
And Peg.
Here.
This open meeting of the Longmeadow Select Board is convened in person and via Zoom webinar as posted on the agenda and the town's website, identifying how the public may join. There is no chat or Q&A function. All the materials for this meeting are available on the agenda posted on longmeadowma.gov. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. This meeting will feature the resident comment. For residents attending the meeting in person, please raise your hand when we get to the comments section of the meeting and I will call on you to approach the microphone. For residents participating in the media via Zoom webinar format, please use the raise hand icon at the bottom of the screen. The meeting moderator will promote you to panelist, unmute you, and give you permission to speak. If you join the webinar by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to mute unmute. Residents who wish to speak will identify their names and addresses only. Each individual is afforded 3 minutes for comments. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right, now roll. Pledge allegiance.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will start with Select Board announcements. Longmeadow Middle School Building Project. The town and middle school have kicked off a series of events to provide tours, educations, and information on the middle school project. Tours will take place at Glenbrook on July 22nd at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. and at Williams on July 23rd at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. There will also be an informational event at the Longmeadow Adult Center at 1:30 on July 30th. A special town meeting will be held on September 9th to vote on project funding, followed by a special election on September 30th to vote on a proposed debt exclusion. For additional information, please visit the Middle School Building Project page on longmeadow.k12.ma.us, and there are links to that in the announcements if you follow the agenda. Select Board Summer Schedule. Looking ahead, the next Select Board meeting will be held on August 18th. The regular meeting schedule will resume with our September 2nd meeting. So first up today, we have board and committee appointments. So first up, we will do Conservation Commission. Mike, who do we have today?
Yes, I believe confirmed we have Richard Bontempo and Carly Pickard. Yes. You guys can come up.
And are these
Richard
both?
is applying for reappointment, and Carly would be for a new appointment.
And how many spots do we have?
Currently, there are three full 3-year terms expiring in 2028, and there are 2 associate non-voting 1-year terms available.
Okay. Please, could you both introduce yourself, name and address?
Richard Bontempo, 30 Glenwood Circle, Longmeadow, Massachusetts.
Carly Pickard, 58 Meadowbrook Road, Longmeadow, Mass.
Okay. Mr. Bontempo, how long have you been on the board?
About 1.5 years, close to 2. I joined a little bit later than at the beginning of the term.
Okay. And how has your time on the board been, on the commission?
It's been great. I've attended twice by Zoom, and the rest were in person, and taken numerous field trips out into the area we protect.
Okay, thank you. And Carly, what is your interest in Concom?
So I'm a professional landscape architect registered in Massachusetts, and I have gone before lots of commissions before, working with numerous clients and civil engineers. So I know a lot about conservation, and I know a lot about the regulations. Still getting familiar with the ones in Long Meadow, but feel very confident that I can help out. And so yeah, just interested in serving.
So I know you did our park study.
Yes, I did.
I remember you presenting. Is there any conflict? Can you serve on the boards and
Nope.
work for the town? Okay.
Nope, I don't think so. I was just a consultant for the town. We did a Parks and Rec study, and I no longer work for that firm.
Oh.
So I'm self-employed now.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
Ms. Picard, I noticed that you had interest in multiple commissions.
Yeah.
Are you happy to be on multiple ones, or just is there one that you had a priority for?
The Conservation Commission, I know that there was a vacancy, so I applied for that one first. And then speaking to Leah, the tree warden, I understood that there's multiple. So wherever I can be best of use, honestly, I'd be interested in 2.
Okay.
Maybe not more than that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Mr. Bontempo, is there any projects your Concom is currently working on that you want to update us on? Or
We're currently working on the Riverfront Conservation Area, which is on Anthony Road, just south of the Pioneer Valley Yacht Club. And that it's in its final stages, awaiting the benches and tables to be assembled and installed down by the river. Anything else going on? Considering the cleanup over at the community gardens, which has the woods in there have been filled with a lot of debris over the years, maybe decades. So that's something I'm going to be pushing for this season if I'm reappointed. I also applied for the Recycling Commission, but I haven't heard anything on that yet.
that's the guy to talk to.
I'll check with the vacancies that we have, and then we can reach back out after that.
Very good.
No, off the top of my head, I have to look.
Thank you, Mike.
Anything else from the board? All right. Thank you both for your interest. We appreciate you coming out.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Council on Aging.
Yep, for the COA Board of Directors, we have 5 reappointments for 5 positions. We have Derek Parr, Candace Serafino, Judy Yaffe, Sal Feinstone, and Dawn Duncan. And I believe Judy is on the Zoom if you want to come over as a panelist. Yep. She just has to accept it.
Okay. We got a lot of familiar faces. Why don't you all introduce yourself?
I'm Derek Parr, 218 Hopkins Place in Long Meadow.
Sal Feinstone, 471 Frank Smith Road, of course, Long Meadow.
Dawn Duncan, 1206 Long Meadow Street, Long Meadow.
Candace Serafino, 546 William Street.
Judy, can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Judy?
Bel-Air Drive, Long Meadow.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. How long have you all been on the board or on the council?
He's forever.
A century ago.
I think I've been 3 years, I think.
12 or 13 years. One of them. I can't remember. That's too long.
I'm like 5 months.
3 years for me.
How about you,
I've
Judy?
been on probably 7.
Okay. Now you're all in front of us. Anything you want to tell us? What's going on the board? Any concerns? Anything that can be done better?
The chair.
Well, I'm so pleased to be working with our board. They're very enthusiastic. We work very well as a collaborative team. We're working very well with the staff at the center. And we're trying some new programs, and we're moving ahead, and we're listening.
Okay, great. Any questions from the board?
I would just, first of all, thank you all for applying and reapplying and doing this. You guys, from what I can tell, are doing a great job. And we don't have any concerns from where we're sitting. If you could just maybe tell us maybe a little bit about something maybe over the past year or two that you've particularly liked working on, or something for us to kind of be looking at moving forward.
Sure. Shortly after the Senior Center, Adult Center was started, I started this thing where once a month I'd have a writer come in and just read and talk to the group. And we ranged from 8 people to 30 people, and there's some regulars. And it's been fun. I've enjoyed that. Also, Patty Self, who's not here, many of you know her, she and I have been running a group for lonely people, because there's a lot of lonely people who are old. And the best experience I've had in a long time was there were 2 women on the group who were at the group who were very shy, very, I can't talk. And they said, what do you like to do? So I like to write. So I said, okay, bring some stuff. And they read some stuff. They were great. I mean, these terrific poems. I said, I'm going to bring you up to Northampton when the Writers' Night Out, which I was used to MC it. And I can't do that. Yes, you can. And their names were pulled out of the hat because we work that way. And they killed it. They just crushed it. And the people are coming up to them and saying, that was so good. You really think so? It was a terrific night. And so what was the other thing here? Somebody else.
No, that's pretty good. That's good. Thank you for sharing.
So,
You're welcome to come
suppose
to
I
this, by the way.
should tell you why I keep wanting to serve on this board. When I started many years ago in the old center, and didn't do much. It did a lot of talking, but didn't do much. Wow, this board is really active, and I feel it's a very important position, helping the executive director to do his job, and I think I provide a little stability to the group. And even though it's a progressive group, you don't have to be young to be progressive, and so it's okay to have a little tradition too.
Thank you.
Well, I'm the newbie, so I'm just kind of still getting my feet wet, but I do enjoy working with the people because it's an incredibly different group of individuals. And watching them talk and come together has been wonderful. It really and truly has. So we put together some really good things out of there, and so I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you all, too. Some of the new things we've implemented is we're doing a book swap. We've had we're going to have a second book swap where people that bring their gently read books, and we exchange them for other read books. And we had one in the spring, and we'll have another one in October. We're resurrecting bingo, but without a cost. It's free bingo with free prizes, and our people told us that's what they wanted. We're also working with a woman about a political discussion in the fall about Seniors for Democracy, to look at how we can all become more informed voters, and for us to consider bringing younger people with us for this intergenerational dialogue. So that's going to be in October. So we're trying some new things.
Yeah, thank you.
Judy?
Oh, hi. I've been involved for many years, and I've been on the nominating committee. I'm on the liaison for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. I'm just very proud of this board and the initiatives that have come about in the last year, with Candace being the leader. So it's great, and we hope to do more.
Great. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's it?
That's it. Well, what do you want us to ask you, Saul? We all know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the name of the new group?
Okay, we have, next up is the DEI Advisory Committee.
So for the DEI advisory group, we have Ronnie Levitt, Nahal Patel, and Linda Preston. Ronnie Levitt and Linda Preston are both seeking reappointment. Nahal Patel is seeking a new appointment. 4 vacant terms currently, 3 for 3 years, expiring 2028, and then 1 is a vacant term that's expiring 2027.
Okay, thanks. Do we have Linda and Hall as well?
Linda,
Oh, okay.
And I'm also here. Hello, how are you guys? Hello.
So if everyone, the 3 of you could, why don't we go start with Ronnie? If you could introduce yourself.
Ronnie Levitt, 143 Twin Hills Drive, Long Meadow, Mass.
Okay. And Linda?
Hi, Linda Preston, 27 Garden Cross Street, Long Meadow.
Okay. And Hall?
111 Captain Road, Long Meadow.
Okay. And so we have, why don't we start with the reappointments? Why are you reapplying, and what do you want to see happen in your next term?
Well, we're a new committee, and we had some months where we were trying to figure out what we could and couldn't do and how we were going to go back about things. And then we had a little regression because our chair disappeared. And I think I actually don't know if she is still technically on the committee or not, but we haven't seen her in over a year. So we have elected a new chair, and we are now moving forward much more rapidly. So we've been doing some educational programs, which have been successful, although we certainly would like more people to attend them. And just at our last meeting, we met with this school department's employee for the last 2 years, and I'm afraid I can't remember her name, but she does, what is it?
Oh.
I'll
go ahead.
Somebody giving an answer.
No, you can go ahead.
Anyway, so I think what we're going to emphasize in the future are 3 things that I can think of offhand. One is continue with our educational programs that talk about culture and disability rights and anti-Semitism and anti-racism. And then we will be hopefully collaborating more with this woman, Nidell, or I'm sorry, I don't remember her name and the name of the position, but we were really impressed with her presentation, and we were thrilled to meet each other and think in terms of collaboration. She's sort of the counselor at the school. You probably know her position better than I do, the name of it. And thirdly, the Long Meadow Anti-Racism Coalition, several of the social justice groups affiliated with either Sinai Temple or Unitarian Church or First Church of Long Meadow, along with DEI, are working on a plan that I am not on the board of, so I can't tell you too much, to increase our collaboration. And it's called PACT, but I can't tell you what it means. Maybe Ken, do you know? PACT, what does it mean? What are the initials?
Sorry, I'm with Lark. I don't remember the initials, the acronym. I apologize also. But it's an attempt to find organizations with shared goodwill values to find a way to promote each other's organizations and support each other. I'm sorry, Ken Klopp for 140 Deep Woods Drive, Long Meadow.
Thank you. I didn't know the questions, so I didn't prepare the answers well enough.
It wouldn't be much of an interview.
And I would like to continue to work on the committee because I feel it's important.
Okay. And Linda?
Hi. I was also one of the original members, and as Ronnie said, we've had a little time just adjusting to what it is, what our charge is, and finding direction, because we want it to be meaningful, we want it to be powerful, and we want it to be able to make a change, a positive, beneficial change for the folks in the town of Long Meadow, and perhaps in the larger community, because we are interconnected in the region as well. So the work that we started didn't come out of a vacuum, and it's something that doesn't disappear quickly. So it's something that's ongoing, and I think it's very important for us to be able to look at all the aspects of DEI so that people who are either in town for a long time or work in town or new to town, thinking of moving to town, they know that it's a welcoming and inclusive town, even though it's not perfect, that we have a group of folks that are working together through, forums where we can be educational, but also that we have an ear to listen to the community and bring those concerns forward as well.
Hi, Ms. Patel.
Hi, this is Nehal Patel, and I'm super excited to be part of this committee just because I've had this experience in the past in the corporate world. I've always been part of diversity and inclusion organization at Raytheon when I was there for 15 years and continued that same role as a president currently at Amazon Robotics. So having that experience in the background that is, aligning with the whole diversity, inclusion, with the thoughts, not just with the race itself, but how do we bring that equality in place, when it comes to education or even in our town itself. So I had a great opportunity to meet one of the members from this organization, and I want to be part of it, enjoy the opportunity, and see how I can contribute into the community of Longmeadow as I continue to be involved in that in my corporate world.
Okay, and I don't have any questions. I will give a plea to the three of you. I know you took some time to find your footing, may have felt a bit rudderless for a while. Work with us. Come, say it every year we have some of you in front of us. Please come talk to us if we can help. We'd like to know what you're doing. And so that's, we shouldn't be strangers. We shouldn't only see you once a year. So all three of you, I hope you take that to heart, and we want to know what you're doing and how we can help. Right.
Thank you.
Any questions from us to the board?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, energy and sustainability.
Energy and sustainability, we have a large group here, so I might have to pull up some more chairs. Here with us today, and I apologize if I mispronounce any names, we have Matt Casale, Kurt Friedman, Doug Taylor, Manu Tarani, and Andrew Miska. And I believe the one member that wasn't confirmed, Stuart Blackman, I don't believe that he's here right now. Oh, Bowser. All right, so right now we have 5 interviews for 3 spots, both terms expiring 2028. And Doug Taylor and Manu Tarani are both incumbents.
Okay. I ask you all to start with Manu and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Manu Tarani, 5 Lexington Road, Longmeadow.
Matt Casale, 53 Sylvan Place, Longmeadow.
Doug Taylor, 68 Northfield Road, Longmeadow.
Andrew Koniska, 31 Northfield.
Kurt Friedman, 24 Ridge Road, Longmeadow.
Okay. Why don't we go the other way? Kurt, why don't you tell us what your interest is in the Energy and Sustainability Committee?
As a registered professional engineer in many states, as a certified energy manager, certified energy auditor, and lead accredited professional, as well as a consultant in building systems and energy management for over 35 years, and as an adjunct professor of energy management and alternative energy at Western New England University, I think I have many experiences and knowledge sets that will be of help to the community. I'm here to give back and help Longmeadow in anywhere I can. In past years, I have provided pro bono consultation for the Longmeadow High School indoor pool. I have also had the educational solar panel, which I've brought to several school children in the area. For the town, I've also advised on water and sewer rates, the high-pressure gas line. I was a speaker at a special town meeting for the high-pressure gas line, and I recently provided letters and direction and information on the Longmeadow electricity program, which has been distributed to the Board of Selectmen and others.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the board. Andrew Kaniska. I've been a resident of Longmeadow since 2001, so 24 years. And I've always looked to be able to give back to the community, want to be able to help out, want to be able to create an environment, a sustaining environment for Longmeadow. I've done that in the past through being mostly a sports coach, T-ball, Little League, sports, soccer, the whole thing. Being an empty nester now, I look back, look at my experience, say, well, how can I help out the town of Longmeadow? And when I saw the Energy and Sustainability Committee, I thought, well, that's a natural fit. I'm a power system engineer. I work for ISO New England. I've worked for ISO New England for 24 years. I worked for Potomac Electric in Washington, D.C., again, as a power system engineer for 10 years before that, so I have 35 years experience to bring to the table. I have a unique experience in that ISO New England looks at the region as a whole rather than just the town. So we are always doing studies to be able to look at the system 10, 20, 50 years out. We recently completed a study where we looked at a net zero 2050 assumptions and all the different changes that would be needed for the region to be able to bring that. It's substantial if we continue down net zero, but it's not impossible. And so that's just a small part of my background and why I want to be a part of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
I joined a couple of years ago. I don't have an engineering background. I'm an actuary and finance guy, and I've been able to take stuff I've learned in that world and apply it in this world. I've kind of become the data guy for the E&S committee. So I set up our tracking of home energy assessments and other improvements that have been going on in town. Been involved in the strategic planning, trying to get more involved in the climate action planning. So I don't have the technical, I have more the organizational, resourceful, analytical skills, whatever, and I'd like to continue to work on this committee. I enjoy the work. It's very important stuff that we do. And I think we've got a lot of stuff ahead of us, and I'd like to be a part of that. So.
Thank you.
Matt Casal, and I will say my current job, they did give me the interview questions beforehand, and I nailed that interview. So. I'm a bit newer to Longmeadow. I've lived here 4 years. I have one daughter going to 3rd grade at Center School and one daughter going to kindergarten at Center School. I'm a lawyer by education, but I've dedicated my professional career to bettering our energy and environmental future for the past decade. I've worked as an enviro advocate and energy policy specialist and campaigner. I spent time doing legislative and regulatory work at the state level here in Massachusetts. I worked on the federal clean energy tax credits and other energy policies in the Inflation Reduction Act. A little sad about that right now. And now I direct a state program for an organization that works to develop the market for zero-emission home heating equipment, heating and cooling. My team works in about 10 states and a little bit in Massachusetts, mostly at the regional level, working with air agencies. So I've got the perspective of what a bunch of state agencies are doing sort of at the state level across the country. And this work gives me joy. And there are a lot of issues, important issues to work on these days, but energy and environment is where my expertise lies. I love the work I do. And I want to do more closer to home. So I want to help Longmeadow continue to show leadership, help people in Longmeadow adopt affordable and sustainable practices that reduce emissions, but importantly also make their homes better, more comfortable, make their lives better. That's what I'm looking to do. Thank you.
Minu Tehrani, I've been part of the Energy Sustainability Committee since it came into picture. So my background, undergrad in Michigan Tech, petroleum engineering, Arizona State, engineering. At that time, it was called agribusiness. Now it's called World Resource Management. And my PhD, Arizona State, is strategy and international business. And I teach classes that in all of them, the capstone strategy course, international management, international business, they all have to do with sustainability, because the health and the welfare of community is part of strategy and sustainability. I publish heavily in the area, and the past 3 years I've been running international global conferences across the globe, but the past 3 years I like to put our town on the map, because my students, a lot of them from Boston area, nobody knows where Longmeadow is. And when I tell them I live in Longmeadow, and they say, what? I said, Longmeadow. So that's what I started that. The year before, I brought the conference. I brought some booklets for you guys. I brought the conference in Longmeadow High and our library and Pittsville. And then a few weeks ago in Western New England University. Next year it will be Western New England University. And I had 131 authors from 41 universities, 39 countries. But what I love to do is get our younger generation involved. So I have our high school students involved with what we do. And sustainability, and I'm so proud to say that 3 of them that they presented in the conference, they got the Best Presentation Award, which makes me very, very happy. Because by the year 2050, if we're supposed to achieve net zero carbon emission economy, they're the ones that they need to implement it and achieve it. So that's, as you know, we require community service and internship. Also, the high school now has internship. So at this point in time, we've done plastic waste management. We have done the research regarding the Western Massachusetts businesses. I wasn't aware that we had 30,500 businesses in Western Mass. That was amazing. And now we are working, we have picked it high-tech and also military defense contract, and we have done a lot of research. They have presented it. We are still working on more, and hopefully the other thing is the health and the welfare of the community. My recent publication that I got students involved in doing the research and statistics. As you know, the #1 cause of death in the U.S. is heart attack, obesity, diabetes, and 30% more among the minorities, and that really bothers me. And I think somebody was talking about that we are connected to each other. It's not, we are the greater Springfield area. So I'm working with, I went to Mr. Dominic Sarno's office to see if we can do, and also Dr. O'Shea, because the universities, for example, in Munich, Princeton, U.S. universities, the land is cultivated by the students for the good food and then to be donated. For example, Springfield has 79 convenience stores, and the major reason for the minorities' higher death rate because they don't have access to good food. And this is part of the sustainability and health and the welfare of community, and that's something that I like to continue.
Thank you. I had a question for Mr. Kaniska. Have you looked into the possibility of solar on a town-wide level, or I'm sorry, on town land? Any projects that we could particularly undertake?
I haven't researched that. I've looked just recently at the town plot on the commercial area, the wetlands. I think the town footprint is pretty constricted. Solar is very popular throughout New England. We have a lot of solar on our system now. The amount of solar that's growing, that's being added to the New England system is increasing. We see solar farms popping up. The interesting thing about solar now is a lot of it is co-located with large utility scale battery projects, so that the solar energy that's captured during the day can be used later in the evening. But in terms of Longmeadow and the Longmeadow footprint, I think the acreage required for a significant solar isn't within the town boundaries that I could see in the map.
So we missed our shot. Any other questions?
May I respond to your question, please? Is that possibility regarding solar?
Sure.
I was part of this forum from with the Department of Environment in Switzerland. As you know, Swiss is the #1 green country and Zurich #1 green city. And I think if they can do it, we can do it too. We have a highly populated community in Longmeadow. One thing that I saw in Swiss, and now it's available in the US, it is called smart flower or sunflower. And they look like a flower. Actually, they open up and they close, and they are solar flowers. You can put it in your land. The price is from 6,000 to 30,000, depending upon how big that you want it to be. But those are some of the things that, as I said a few years back, I saw in Swiss, but now they're doing it, they're selling it right in the US. So those are some of the things as far as solar energy that we can take a look at.
Go ahead, Kurt.
As you know, I tried to get a warrant article through at this town meeting and previous, but I sincerely believe that small, limited ground mount solar panels in the side yards as well as the backyards could provide a collective opportunity for the community. People could install much of it themselves and then just hire professionals to do either the wiring tie-in or the plumbing tie-in and have some level of renewable energy for a fraction of the cost of having to hire out fully to professionals. And I think maybe with a little convincing and maybe with some education to the public, we could get this concept accepted in our community.
Thank you. Nothing else? All right. Thank you all. Appreciate your interest and your applications.
Thank
you. All right, Mike, Historic District Commission.
Historic District Commission, we have Jane Crosby and Clifford Scott, both applying for reappointment to the committee or to the commission. Currently on the commission, there are actually quite a few vacancies. We had somebody who left during one of their terms, and then there are 3 others who also expire in 2025. So there are currently, let me just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think there are
5 vacancies expiring 2028 and 1 expiring 2027.
So the first question is, do you have any friends you get to join? No,
We're going to look for them.
Yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Sure. Jane Crosby, 73 Lincoln Park, Longmeadow.
Cliff Scott, 797 Longmeadow Street.
Okay, and why don't you tell us about your work on the HDC and why you're reapplying?
Would you like to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. So I'm relatively new to the committee. I'm just wrapping up my 2nd year, and I've lived in Longmeadow since 1988 and wasn't aware of the committee until about 2 years ago when I saw an ad in the Hampden County Bar Association that they were looking for an attorney to sit on the committee, and I'm an attorney, and I grew up surrounded by historic homes. I'm 10th generation New Englander, so I thought that it would be something interesting to do. I also my office is in the Brewer Young Mansion. I'm up on the 3rd floor on the workspace, and I love maintaining our history, but you also have to move forward as well. So one of the things I've been really impressed on is that the committee works well together. I'm just going to give props to Cliff here. He's our chairman, and he's really done a great job. And during the past couple of years, one of the things that we've really tried to do is have more communication with other departments in the town. So, for example, when Eversource started putting up installations on the town green without consulting us, Cliff reached out, and he and I had a meeting with DPW just to understand the process. And what we realized is that a lot of the permitting departments aren't aware that people need to come to the Historic District Commission. And other issues that we run into is that people move into town, they buy a house, and they're not informed that they need to come to the Historic Commission if they're within the footprint of the Historic District to get permission to make any alterations to the exterior of the house. And we actually had a situation where somebody removed their brownstone steps and started work, and that was brought to our attention. And so they had to come in. It was a couple times before a solution was reached, and they weren't very happy that they were being told that they couldn't do what they wanted to do. So one of the things that we're working on is communicating with the realtors, because a lot of the realting companies here in town have switched I've lived here since 1988. I don't think any of the real estate brokers who were in town then are in existence now, or if they are, they're renamed. And a lot of them aren't aware that there's a historic district, and that if people are purchasing homes in them, that they need to come to the committee. So I think we're working on things like that.
Were you two on the board when we had the Eversource things?
Sending the letter? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we haven't had to see it for that, at least. Again.
Yeah.
So the brokers, are you actively communicating with people with the brokers or realtors when they move in, or are you sending a letter out?
So we're working. I think. Do we have a final draft of that letter?
Yeah, we have
I'm really sure.
We have a draft of what I would say, and it outlines the various entities within town that deal with historical resources, whether it be ourselves, the Historical Commission, the Historical Society, the Demolition Commission. Kind of summarizes what each of these organizations do, kind of who does what to who. And with that, we're drafting cover letters, because we have one cover letter that would be applicable to like realtors. Why are we providing this to you? We do have a realtor on the board, and so that's our link into that community. We'd like to also, have that with a cover letter to all residents within the commission, or within the district, because that's really where kind of the first line of defense, not only with external parties that like Eversource or other utilities that do work in the district, but it's also there's a lot of residents just are unaware of what's there available as a resource to them, but also what the guidelines are, why the guidelines exist, and that sort of business. So we'd like to share that same information with them, and basically, anybody that has any kind of stakeholder that has interest within the historic district, to share that sort of information with them, because probably the biggest issue we have is that communication issue and understanding issue of, oftentimes if there's somebody that has an issue, they'll send a letter to the Historical Society, or they'll send an email to the Historical Society, and that gets bounced around until it finally gets to the right party as to who deals with what aspect of historical resources. So we hope to clear that up.
The names are too close.
They get historical right, but
it's
it kind
confusing.
of goes sideways after that.
Yeah,
So we hope to be able to clear some of that up. And I think if we can provide this information to all those stakeholders, and then reinforce that probably annually, it's a simple thing to do. It's a one-page information sheet that we can distribute to residents, which I think are kind of the first line of defense, as I said, for all this, and then kind of expand from there.
Any other questions? No? Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your work.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, we have Henry Robinson, who is applying for reappointment to the committee, one vacant term expiring 2028.
Henry Robinson, 53 Hillside Terrace.
How long have you been on the board?
3 years.
Okay. Well, thank you for reapplying. Tell us why you're reapplying, what's going on.
I think Parks and Rec, like the parks and all our recreation stuff in this town is what makes our town great. Like compared to other towns in this area, are just every day people are actively engaged in what they're doing, whether it be a sport or a walk or a community cleanup or music or something outside. But it's just like, it's never ending. There's always something to do outside, and having it done safely makes it even better. And I think we need to continue to stay on top of that and make sure that's a big priority for this town, because if that goes away or if that declines, then we're just not what we can be and should be, which is just an active, engaged community, and that's why I've loved living here for about 8 years. So I don't know, just stay on the Parks and Rec committee. And I started really focused on the rec part because I like the sport so much, but I've really started to tilt towards the park part. Like the thing that really sticks in me right now is that Bliss Park rusty cage that sits on the corner, and just like we could do so much with it. I don't need it to be sports. I don't need it to be pickleball. It could be a butterfly garden for all I care, but it could be something nice. And I just want to stick around and see something happen with that at least. And I guess that's kind of it.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that because we got the letter from you not too long ago, which we appreciate. Is Parks and Rec, is the committee planning on taking a survey, refining suggestions?
I think so. We have a meeting Wednesday night, and I think we're going to talk more about it. It's like the number one thing on the agenda. It's like that needs, my take, and I don't know how logical it is it's got to come down. Now, does that mean there's like rusty poles on the ground that are unsafe and we can't do it that way? But like somehow we need to show some progress of like, this is down and we're going to move forward, because as long as it stays, or as long as nothing's happening in it, it just seems like such a waste of perfectly good space. Like, keep it up if you want and polish it up and make it nice, and then put basketball courts in there, or put a pickleball court, or put a pavilion or a bathroom or somewhere like someone can change their kid's diaper or something. Like, do something positive with it. And that's just what, right now, that's just like every time I drive by it, it's like, we gotta do something with this. It's too primo of a spot to just sit there like that. But, you know, town moves a little slow sometimes.
There's also a legal issue.
I'm sure there is. That's what I mean. I can't just go cut it down with like a metal saw or whatever, but another basketball court would be nice in there for the kids.
Okay. Any other questions?
I think it's interesting. And being on the committee, what do you think you need on the Park and Rec committee to make that happen? Like, what do you?
I don't know how to get like we can't like bang a gavel and get what we want, which I wish we could. That would be great, but we just need, like, if we present a proposal, then how do we move forward with that proposal? Instead of us just saying, like, we agree that this would be a good idea to do this, if you decide to do this, I think some more precise, like, actionable language would be better for us, because I think we have good ideas. I think we could make some real changes that wouldn't cost a lot or hinder the town, but would be something that would help us move forward. But I think it just moves very slowly, and so
that would probably be a CPC application, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's.
That's what you can talk about on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and the 3 neighbors who don't want to hear the pickleball sound right there. So, yeah, big things to chat about for sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Recycling Commission.
Recycling Commission, I believe we have Susan Shepard on the Zoom. Well, she was there before. She's not. Maybe there's some difficulties with the Zoom, but we can reschedule her.
Okay. Might be out delivering trash cans. Recycling cans, sorry. All right, Zoning Board of Appeals.
Zoning Board of Appeals, we have Travis Lynch and Peter DeLucci. Travis Lynch is seeking a reappointment. Peter DeLucci would be a new appointment. Currently, we had one full-time member who did not apply for reappointment. So there actually is one 5-year term expiring 2030, and then 2 associate non-voting terms, one expiring in 2026. No, sorry. One expiring in 2028 and one expiring in 2027.
I was just with the Munson ZBA hiking through the woods, so I hope you guys get something that exciting.
It's mostly special permits for like kitchens and things like that.
Yeah, well, maybe someday. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Travis Lynch, 25 Dover Road.
Peter Galucci, 44 Elmwood.
Okay, great. And why don't you both discuss your interest or why you're reapplying and what work you've been doing?
Yes. It's just interesting to learn about. I didn't know that much about the town when I started. I've only been living here for about 4.5 years. I've learned that it seems like almost all the properties in town are non-conforming structures, because it seems as though everyone's lots are too small. So everyone, to really do anything substantive on your property, you have to get a special permit. I mean, we grant them quite freely. That's what I've observed in practice. The other members of the board I find are quite good to work with. They're very knowledgeable. Some of them have been around for, I don't know how long they've been on the board, but they are extremely experienced. They seem to know everything about the zoning code. It's very interesting. I mean, there's the routine kitchen stuff, which is important that we have to do that. And then occasionally, I think there's only been 2 appeals since I've been on the board in the last 3 years. And those are sort of, those get continued, and those are sort of interesting as well. But those also find a way to mostly resolve on their own. But anyway, I just have enjoyed working with the other board members, and would like to continue doing the important work of the board. And I didn't know that there was an opening for I've been an associate member this whole time, and can I apply for the full member position? Is that?
Yeah, so the way it works is your application comes in just for the zoning board.
Okay.
And when the appointment happens, the board will weigh the options and figure out who they should appoint to the 5. You're saying that you're interested in that term, so they'll take that into consideration when they make the appointment.
Yes.
And that was new news actually as of this morning that person.
Yes, I learned that this morning as well.
So you wouldn't necessarily indicate that on there.
Right.
If it came to a point where there was 5 open spots, or there was 5 people for 4 spots and one was a full-time term, the board would probably reach out to ask who's interested in the full term, who's interested, or they would have to make their decision based on the interview as to who they would appoint.
Okay.
And who didn't reapply?
Marissa Comack, who's been on the board for quite some time as well.
And Mr. Bellucci?
Hi, thank you all for having me, first of all. So I'm completely new to anything board and committee related, but I have been a resident of Longmeadow pretty much my whole life, minus law school and college. I've lived here, went to the public schools here. Now I live here with my wife and 2 kids. So I was wondering how I can get involved and serve my community. So just a little bit about my background. I've been an attorney for 8 years, and that's in a public service role. So it's something that I'm passionate about and interested in. So when I looked at what committees I could get involved in and how I could kind of help out, I saw the Zoning Board of Appeals. And Travis is a colleague of mine. He was kind of able to kind of tell me about some of the issues that they deal with, some of the cases that they have, and that really interested me kind of as a legal nerd. So I was definitely drawn to it, and the opportunity to serve my community and kind of use my legal skills in that aspect definitely interests me, so that's why I'm interested in applying.
And you'd be comfortable being a non-voting member if that's what we chose? Okay.
Absolutely.
It's a good way to learn.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, thank you both for your interest. Any other questions, rest of the board?
I don't. Thank you for your interest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay. That is it for our interviews for the day. Thank you to everyone who applied. We really appreciate it. Next up, we have resident comments.
So I believe Andrew Chase
right.
was trying to resident comment.
And Andrea, I told we would be at resident comments in 10 or 15 minutes, so I forgot about the interview, so I apologize to her. Promote the panelist, I think. Peggy?
Panelist?
Yep.
Yeah?
I have access to
Okay.
it.
All right.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, hi, this is Andrea Chasen. I live at 236 Crestview Circle here in Longmeadow, and I wanted to offer some comments about the upcoming August 7th Eversource open house. They reactivated their Western Massachusetts natural gas reliability project, and I want to make sure that the select board in the town is aware that the Energy Sustainability Committee, the Long Meadow Pipeline Awareness, Long Meadow Gas Awareness Pipeline Group, and the Springfield Climate Justice Coalition are working together to develop strategies on this first part. We're anticipating that as a result of this, that Eversource is probably going to be submitting an environmental impact statement that's supplemental to what Rebecca, the Secretary of Environment and Energy Affairs, requested, Rebecca Tepper. We're going to be in contact with her department, Melissa Hubbard's chief of the climate issues, as well as the Attorney General's office on behalf of the town, to renew our commitment to resisting the building of a point of, what do they call it? A point of distribution on the corner of Shaker and Hazardville, and running through Long Meadow past environmental justice communities into the source. And just as a reminder, this has been in the works since about 2017, and originally started as the Columbia Gas Expansion Project and got renamed the Eversource Reliability Project, and they are continuing with the same proposal and not making any changes, even though there are 5 out of these 7 communities that originally were earmarked to get this expansion. There's only 2 left, which is Long Meadow and Springfield. So I wanted to make the select board aware of what we're doing and how we're approaching this, and that's my comment.
Thank you very much, Andrew. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, nobody else? Okay, great. Okay, we'll move on to select board comments. I'll start off. A number of us were at the Golden Cane Award for Mr. Ivan Kobzar, who is 102 years old, the oldest resident in Longmeadow. Lived here for 27 years, had an interesting life story. I think my favorite part was his solo honeymoon. But, it was a really great ceremony and event. Just want to thank the Council on Aging, Adult Center, and Mark Gold, who pushed things along to really get it moving. It was really lovely, and it was a great crowd. I was really surprised and heartened to see how many people there. I also want to give a shout out to the Longmeadow Little League All-Stars 10U team. They won the district championship. No age group in the Little League All-Stars has won since 2023. So that was a big accomplishment. A couple really amazing games over Westfield. My 2 favorite baseball players, Marie and Charlie Levine, are on the team. So I would say this anyway, but a little special for me. So anybody else?
Yeah, thank you. Just a couple of comments. I want to thank Andrea for her comment about the August 7th meeting. The work that Eversource is doing with the pipeline has been dormant for quite some time, but it's now restarting, and it's important, I think, for the community to be engaged in this and understand what's happening with that. So I want to thank Andrea for bringing attention to that. I also want to thank everyone that was involved with delivering all of our recycling bins. Delivering the exact or the correct recycling bins to every home in town is quite an undertaking, and it was done very well, and I want to thank everyone that was involved for making that happen and making that a success. And then I also just wanted to comment real quickly on the water main break on Shaker Road today. It was a significant water main break that caused quite a bit of disruption, and just something that I think a couple of us on the board have been talking about for a couple of years now, is that the frequency with these water main breaks they were a policy choice, and they were a policy choice from decades of inaction on addressing our water infrastructure. And I think that I was proud to support the investment in our water mains, and to kind of talk about this discussion, or be a part of the discussion about why we need to increase our water rates so that we can actually start addressing our water mains and our water infrastructure. And I am happy with the steps that the board has taken over the last year or so, and I hope that the board will continue to support these improvements in our water infrastructure so that we do not continue to have incidents like today happen. Thank you.
Thanks. Andrew?
I'd like to commend Lynn and her team and raise awareness of the cost estimator with regard to the upcoming potential middle school project. So if you go to the town website, everyone can enter an assessment and see the impact, property tax-wise, of what the middle school project might do. But the most important thing I want to tell people is that figure would be what it would do in isolation, essentially. So it is a major decision, obviously, that coming up this year for our town. And what people will find is it basically is going to increase your property tax 10%. But that in isolation is a figure that does not take into account a couple important factors. And Lynn, feel free to jump in if there's even more. But number one, it wouldn't really be that high exactly because does not reflect retiring debt, such as for the high school that will come off in the period of this loan. And there is potential for the Glenbrook site to be developed privately, which would raise property tax for the town and could also mitigate it somewhat. So I just want people to be encouraged to go there and check it out. This is going to happen in September, where there will be a town meeting and a ballot vote, and people should be very informed about this. But just to know that specific thing about that figure in isolation isn't exactly what you might see in a property tax bill afterwards.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, the only thing I just wanted to mention was Westcom. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Lynn. I think you're probably going to talk about this later, but just the ability that we're now regionalizing our dispatch. So police, fire, when you're calling 911, and just recognize all the people behind the scenes that are doing amazing work, because you're calling, you're frantic, looking for help, and these are really some like the unsung heroes that are doing great work, and they've transformed this old building, which was formerly a college, as well as other buildings in the past. But I did want to commend Lynn for your leadership on that board and helping us regionalize things, which I think this board, hopefully in the future, can look towards further ways to regionalize and help save money while performing good work for the community and our surrounding community. So it was a good event to attend, and I think that we can, as a group, hopefully find other ways that we can try to regionalize and make things more cost effective while delivering good services. Also, it was kind of a fun event that I stopped by. That's, Andrew, you did as well for the Rooster.
Oh, nice.
So that was, but the only thing I want to share was just when I was talking to some of the folks that were there, just getting a tour of the church and what the church actually is doing for the community outside of just performing a sermon. So shout out to them and everything that they're doing for the community. And then the last thing was the JCC had opened, and it was really well attended. And I know that's a topic that keeps coming up, pickleball at Bliss Courts, and they're heavily used at our adult center. But I just wanted to commend the JCC and everything that they're doing for our community to make it really a better place for people of all ages, abilities to get together and have fun. So that's my little spiel tonight.
Oh, and Dan, just to piggyback on that, thank you. The bring cost savings by aggregation. There's been a rollout of the municipal aggregation information. I know there's been a lot of questions. Lynn, Mike, and Ian and the team have done a great job addressing those questions. I wasn't able to make the event, but I understand it was really well attended, the information session, which I thought was a great thing to do. And there's people still have questions about it. I hope it saves people money, but I think that whatever it does, you all did a great job on making sure that people understood. So thank you for that. Any other select board comments? Great. Okay, we'll move on to the town manager's report.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. It's a long one tonight. The Mass Gaming Commission Community Mitigation Fund Grant, we have just been awarded another grant through them. This one's in the amount of $292,800. And this is going to cover issues for fire department, for rescue capability and interoperability, and Phase 4 of the traffic camera project for the police department. This also will get them cameras for main arterial roads to further that project that we've been doing the last couple years. Public safety equipment, including additional electronic sign message boards, which have been widely popular for all sorts of notices that we need to put out, a LiDAR unit for traffic controls, and funding for active shooter training. So thank you to the Gaming Commission for their support of our application there, and to Mike for seeing that through the process. We have a new solid waste disposal contract, so this is in addition to the trash hauling contract. This is the contract where our actual trash goes. The contract just expired June 30th. Our new contract is with a disposal cost of $98, which is actually a decrease from what we had the last contract, which was $101.67 per ton. So this is a little bit of a savings for us. The bulky waste disposal cost is $101 a ton, which is also a savings. The prior contract was $122.64 a ton. This new contract is with F&G Recycling, which is USA Waste. The Longmeadow Street TIP project, the Route 5 to Converse Street road resurfacing and intersection improvement project has been advertised. I just want to be clear because I think it may have been misstated at a prior select board meeting that it was going to be delayed. It's not. It has gone out to bid. Bid opening is August 5th. And then the state will award the contract and then give a notice to proceed. We'll closely follow that, and at my August 18th town manager report, I'll have a further update for you then. The Longmeadow Police Department has been reaccredited. I had the honor of attending the Mass Police Accreditation Commission event where the Longmeadow Police Department received their award. This is really impressive because Longmeadow Police is the only agency in Hampden County to be accredited. This is completely voluntary. You put yourself through a very rigorous policy and physical review process, meaning they come and tour our site to make sure that we meet the standards that they've set out. And I'm very proud to say that we were reaccredited again, and it's a huge credit to Chief Stocks and the entire team at LPD for their work on this. An update on the middle school building project. We have a new website that's been totally revamped with a lot of new content. The FAQ document's been refreshed to include all of the financial information. There's a video of the architect's presentation that was made to the select board on June 16th, along with the slide deck from that meeting. The spring 2025 traffic study's been posted under new documents on that website. And there was a trifold document that had been used at some of the informational sessions that the architect had helped host. Those were really well received, and those documents have also been posted on the website. And then at the June 18th MSBA meeting, the Board of Directors for the Mass School Building Authority did vote to approve Longmeadow's total project budget of $151,594,774. and improved Longmeadow's maximum reimbursement rate of 56.37% on eligible costs for the project. That totals a $54,860,777 grant. So it's pretty impressive, and you can find all that information on the middle school building website. As was mentioned by Dan in select board comments, we had a ribbon cutting and ceremony at Westcom. This is the new facility located at 645 Shawinigan Drive. It's been under construction for about 1.5 years, and it has turned out terrific. They're not quite up and operating out of there yet. There's some pieces that are still remaining, but they're very eager to get into that space. It's going to give them a lot more room than what they currently have, and has ample space for expansion, which we're hoping to do. So once we're up and operating there, we are opening the doors to any and all communities that want to come be part of Westcom. And in more great Westcom news, the Westcom team was recognized and awarded the Telecommunications Team of the Year for 2024. This award was hosted by the Mass Communications Supervisors Association and was provided assistance from State 911. And it's a true testament to the hard work of the Westcom dispatchers. They are incredibly professional, highly trained, and I'm glad that they're getting the recognition they deserve. We received a gift from the Longmeadow Softball Association. They've donated a scoreboard for the Turner Park softball field. The donation is a 10 by 8 foot Nevco scoreboard with a solar power kit and wireless controller. The value of the donation is $10,287. The DPW is going to work with our contractor to install the scoreboard and the solar power equipment. We expect that to happen sometime by the middle of August. And then their DPW will then be responsible for annual maintenance of the scoreboard. A big thank you to the Longmeadow Softball Association for this generous donation for the Turner Park field and the Longmeadow softball program. I know people are very interested in the status of Reynolds Pool. The bulk of the electrical work is done. If you recall, we had been waiting on that panel that had been back ordered. It had delayed shipping. We were told it would take 6 months to ship. We did receive it end of May, early June. The town's electrical contractor did the installation. That work has finished up, and now we are waiting on Eversource. We have put the work order request in for them to come inspect and energize the system, and we do not have an update on when they will be there. I have asked every single day. So if anyone from Eversource is watching, please come and do what you need to do so that we can get that pool filled and tested and open before the end of July. And I'm happy to say everything is moving ahead at Greenwood. They're open, operating, people are enjoying it, and I know we've had a lot of hot days, so passes are good at both locations, and I encourage people to check out Greenwood until Bliss is up and open. Road resurfacing updates. Caracas Construction's continuing all their drainage work on Emerson Road, Bel Air Drive, and Twin Hills to replace the stormwater drains in preparation for paving. All the drainage work for this contract is anticipated to be complete by August. Mill and overlay on Pondside has been completed. Mill and overlay for Shaker Road is tentatively scheduled to begin August 4th, with grassy gutter to be surfaced following Shaker. Further resurfacing on Emerson, Bel Air, Twin Hills, a portion of Canterbury, portion of Longmeadow Street, and Cooley will continue in August and September. The schedule obviously can change depending on weather. And DPW does keep a full list of updates on their Public Works resurfacing, road resurfacing website. And my prior report in June, I had talked about some pump station issues at the Emerson Road pump station. One of the pumps has been repaired, one is still struggling. The third pump that had been sent out for repairs in April of 2024 is scheduled to be done in 2 months. We're confident that we're able to remove that bypass pump for now, and we'll continue to monitor and resume the use of the bypass pump if the 1.75 pumps can't keep up. The community input survey for the future use of town buildings has closed. We had over 800 responses, so we're working on summarizing that, and I'll provide a further update at the next meeting. And Fuss and O'Neill is still doing their evaluation, and they are expected to have something for us by the end of August. We had a significant water leak at Longmeadow High School on July 7th. We were alerted to it that Monday after we reopened after the holiday weekend. It impacted 4 science rooms. A water fitting in a second floor science room let go, causing water to fill that classroom and the ones directly below it. The fixture that failed has been sent to Global Engineering for forensic analysis. This is being facilitated by our insurance company and is an important step to determine how this happened and to figure out if we need to make preventative changes. We should have that report back in 2 to 4 weeks. DPW and school staff began immediately cleaning up the area when it was discovered. The town's insurance company was involved, and an adjuster was on site within 24 hours. A remediation contractor was approved by the insurance company to complete the drying and demolition and restoration of all the rooms except room 121. That room unfortunately suffered the most damage and has been declared an 80% loss. Lab benches, cabinets, walls, and ceilings will need to be replaced in that room. And as of now, we're on track to have all 3 rooms ready for the start of the school year, with that 4th room, that room 124, offline for likely the foreseeable future, and could be through the entire school year. I'll know a lot more once we have a thorough analysis done. And as was also mentioned in select board comments, we attended the Golden Cane Award. This was a restarting of an award that has not been had since before the COVID-19 pandemic. It was a great event, very well attended. It's just great to celebrate something so great when We don't have an opportunity to do that a lot. There was a large family attendance. It was great to hear their stories about their grandfather and great-grandfather. And I thank all of those of you that were able to be there, and the Council on Aging for working on that, along with Select Board Member Gold, who had been, pushing to restart that. It was also attended by Senator Oliveira and Representative Ash, and I look forward to it continuing. All right, that concludes my report.
Lynn, just a question on the water leak. Did it happen or did the science rooms have more water running to them? I know there's probably a lot of sinks. Are they particularly prone to something like this happening?
Well, I wouldn't say they were prone to it. I mean, anywhere that has a sink, I guess, could have a fitting let go. But yeah, they have sinks in the classrooms because they're science rooms.
Yeah. So I was just wondering if we wanted to put in like a water alert system like you can get for a hot water heater. I'm sure this has been thought of, but just something because it's a lot of damage, and losing a whole lab room is pretty tough to swallow.
Yeah, and so that's where that forensic report is going to be critical, because those same water fittings are used on all of the plumbing devices throughout the building. So if there's something wrong with that fitting, the next step would be to replace it.
Wow, okay.
I don't want to jump to conclusions yet. But.
Yeah.
This wasn't a science experiment.
It wasn't someone who got a bad grade. I see.
Lynn, one quick thing with respect to the middle school. I know a lot of folks have been saying, wait, there's something coming up in September 9th. Is there a way for us or is there a plan for us to share a little bit more about what is coming up on the vote? I think everyone thought, based on your update, we got approved. That means we're done. It's not. So I think just making sure we can help residents understand what's going to be coming up in September. Is that, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great point. So the first step was getting MSBA to say, yes, we approve this project and your budget you have forward. Now we need to figure out how we're paying for it. And that starts with our September 9th vote at town meeting, and then September 30th, a debt exclusion vote at an election.
There's a group of concerned residents who will be getting some signs.
Is that the smart?
Yeah, almost smart. We'll be getting some signs soon, so I would keep an eye out for that. There'll be information on the signs, on how to get your own, and some events. So the outreach will be key. Absolutely.
And also, maybe in new business later on in the meeting, we're discussing the special town meeting warrant and ballot question, and that pretty much kicks off our public education initiative after this meeting.
Great.
So starting tomorrow, we can start promoting the meeting and everything like that.
Awesome. I think that'll be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, anything else for Lynn around the monthly reports? Okay, great. Thank you, Lynn. We've moved the minutes to the next meeting, so we will move on to the next agenda item, which is updates and recommendations related to the new recycling cart program.
Sorry, Josh, I think that they actually sent around.
We did. We just caught a few errors this morning, so we just want to confirm some of the status of the votes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Back on, yeah.
So we'll put them back on for the next meeting.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't see them go back.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Thank you, Andrew.
It was a rough day. Okay. Moving on to updates and recommendations related to the new recycling cart program. Lynn, you want to take this?
Thanks. Thank you. So, yes, the recycling carts have been rolling out, no pun intended, and I think they look great. Haven't received a ton of feedback in our office yet about, the actual use of them, but I know I've heard from many of you just wanting to make sure that we had some overflow spaces identified, and just in general what we were going to do with those old recycling totes. So I've spent some time talking with the DPW director and the DPW business manager, and we had to consider space at the recycling center and just the logistics of adding additional containers to be able to accept plastic and or cardboard. Initially, the plan had been just cardboard, but they have enough space to also accept containers, and we figured if we don't need containers, we can roll that back later, but why not, in case there's an issue, offer that at the same time. So what will happen is the DPW is working right now on moving the brush and yard waste That is, if you're familiar with the recycling center in the back right corner, that will get moved and relocated to the old DPW yard at on the corner of Emerson and Pondside. And then the new excess cardboard and glass and plastic container will move to where the brush pile was. If you are a resident and you are dropping off excess cardboard or containers, you will not need a recycling sticker. You can use that during normal recycling center hours, free of charge. We expect that this will be ready July 30th. That would be that first Wednesday that they're able to accept that there. And then this is also the same for the new brush and yard waste location. That would be ready July 30th as well. You will enter off of Emerson and then get routed through the lot so that you could safely drop off and exit. You will need a sticker still for brush and yard waste. That's not changing.
Lynn, just before we move on, I would just want to really thank you, Sean, and Lisa on figuring this out. I think it was really important. At a town meeting when we were pitching all this, we said, yeah, we'll have a place to drop off, and then that turned out to be a little harder than we thought. But I think this is great, and I really appreciate it. I know that other members reached out, and so thank you so much for doing this. And I brought this up at the last meeting. How are we going to confirm that people live in town that are coming in to drop off? I worry that people will hear, oh, you can just go drop off your stuff in Longmeadow. It doesn't matter where you live.
Yeah, we're still going to figure out exactly what we'll be asking people for, whether it's an ID or
driver's license,
or some sort of bill if they bring with them. We may need to do somewhat of an honor system to start with. It is a very busy place. We have limited staff down there, and to slow it up to verify address may make it difficult. So some of this is going to be trial and error as we get started. We're also not convinced that the volume of people needing to do this is going to be so much that it's not something we can manage, or make some tweaks with their cart size, which is later on in my memo. So we're going to just see how it goes for a little bit.
Okay, great, thanks.
So on, people have now been asking, what do I do with my old tote or my old cart that I had my recycling in? We're going to be accepting drop-off of those at the wastewater pump station on Emerson Road. So if you're heading to the old DPW, go over the train tracks, and it's right on the left there. It will be open the same hours as the recycling center, which are Wednesdays from 10 to 5, Saturdays 8 to 5, Sundays 10 to 5. You won't need to show a pass or anything. You won't have to pay for this. You can just pull in, drop your container off there, and exit out following the signs. There will be staff there to take it for you, and that will start July 30th as well. The town, one important notice though is that the town will not be collecting your old barrels or carts from your house. We do not have the capability to do that. We don't have the staff to do that. So it is incumbent on you to bring it to the Emerson Road pump station. Okay, and then the next big question we've been getting is regarding swapping out cart sizes. If people got a size they don't want, what's the process going to be for swapping out to a size you do want? DPW has created a form where they're tracking to figure out who wants what, so that we can hopefully keep the swap in-house and not have to purchase additional carts, because that's a cost that we do not have budgeted. So this is going to take a lot of coordination of the DPW staff to figure out what's coming in and what needs to go out. The number, the serial number on your cart does get assigned to a specific address. So there is a lot of administrative end on the DPW for this. So we don't have a time frame yet, but if you do have a cart size that you do not want, please fill out this form. You can do so either by calling the DPW or right on the town's homepage, longmeadowma.gov, which is the quickest and easiest way to do it. Please fill out the form there, and then we'll get back to you as soon as we can once we know how we'll coordinate swapping out sizes. And then lastly, with this new waste management contract, because it's automation and because it's a new contract, waste management's cost to pick up our excess blue bags has increased. The bags right now cost $2 a bag for someone to purchase, and waste management is between between waste management picking it up and the cost of us to produce those bags, it's now, we're not covering our costs for the program. And so the blue bag was intended to cover the cost for the disposing of the trash, the picking it up, and the making of the bag itself. So in order for us to not lose money, so this is not a revenue gain, but it's a way to not lose money, we're suggesting that the bag price increase to $3 a bag. This takes 45 days to implement with the stores to update their barcode scans. So we will be looking for you to take a vote on that to update that bag cost. And that's it. The last part of the memo just reiterates the hours of the recycling center. And there's also a link to the longmeadowma.gov recycling cart webpage where there's a lot of this information. And we can also post this memo there as well.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. Appreciate all the work on this. Go ahead, Dan.
The only question I have on the swap, so are we going to notify residents, giving them ample time, like, hey, the deadline is now 2 weeks, because if we just all of a sudden 3 weeks from now just accept the folks that have submitted the request, some people might be away or they miss it, and it's going to happen anyways, but if we can...
Yeah, that's a great point. We also have to decide what we're going to do when household ownership changes and it might not fit your needs, and so what are we going to do then? That's a great point. I think I need to bring that back to Sean and Lisa and discuss what the timing might look like there. I think we're thinking sometime after summer, really get people a chance to use it, see if it works for you, and not offer up a swap right away, because it takes a bit to get used to something new. But yeah, we'll make sure we provide ample time.
Thanks.
Go ahead, G.
Kind of along similar lines with the old recycling tote drop-off, what is happening with these old recycling totes that are being dropped off? And then the second part of it is, I know that it starts July 30th. Is there an end date to that where people can come and drop them off?
Not yet, but we will announce an end date once we figure out how many are coming in and how often. I would anticipate it'll likely carry us through the end of the summer. We may offer it a few more weeks in September, but it'll really depend on staffing levels as well, because we had to hire additional recycling attendants, and we have some summer seasonal help that's also going to share some hours there as well. And in terms of what's going to happen with them, it depends on the condition when they come in. Some of them can be repurposed for other uses. It depends on the type of cart that comes in. We're going to take anything. If it's some people have those totes that have the lids on them. Some people have the blue barrels. Some people have carts with wheels. So we'll take it all, and then we'll figure out what we have and if there's any value to it, either for us to put into use or to auction.
Okay, great, thank you.
The only other thing I'm thinking about for the returns of the bins is I'm always trying to think of our seniors in town, and if they need help lifting the bins and getting them delivered, have we thought about a way that we could, maybe they can contact the DPW, someone at the adult center for assistance? And I mean, I'm happy to help folks in the community, but I'm just thinking we should probably look into that.
Yeah, we had a similar question come in this week, and we don't have something set up yet. I do know we cannot use DPW to do this. We don't have the labor available to go to individual houses to pick things up. It's possible that we have volunteers that can do it, and we might be able to use resources at the adult center to track and create a list of people in need for a home pickup of those items. But it's something DPW is tracking right now, and our office is tracking just to see if there really is a need there.
Great. Anything else? Okay. Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks. And so if I could, I can ask you to do it August 18th if you want, but I would like we need a vote on the bag cost, because we're losing money on all the blue bags from here on out.
I'm just trying to think technically what we're supposed to do under our policy on voting on something new, but I think that's fine. You sent us plenty of information on this, so I'm comfortable voting if everyone else is.
Well, yeah, so I will say that I understand that we're going to be losing money on this. I also feel personally like I have hesitancy in increasing the cost of the bags from $2 to $3. I think that I know that we got a favorable recycling contract this time around, but it has also been a downgrade in convenience for our residents in that we have now taken away unlimited curbside recycling. We're also asking folks to create more storage space to store the extra bins. And then on top of that, I think to kind of, and you know, a lot of this we don't have control on timing, but to kind of spring this on folks, because really when you're going to buy it, you're buying this in rolls of 5, and that goes from $10 to $15 when you're buying these. And that seems like a pretty significant increase to me. And also just kind of thinking about the effect that all of this has on families. I think that, you know, already, you know, it's completely understandable that we have this policy with our trash and having it be a smaller size to reduce people that, you know, to reduce the amount of trash that people want to create. But, you know, at the same time, when you have families, the smaller trash barrels are difficult to deal with. And now we're also taking away unlimited curbside recycling, and now I think families who already don't have the time to maybe go to the dump to you know, get rid of the excess recycling have to find time for that, and then now we're also increasing costs on them for the blue bags. And you know, I think that just kind of like roughly looking at the numbers, this is going to be about like a $60,000 difference if we sell the same amount of blue bags as we did last year, but keep it at $2 versus $3. And you know, I don't know if there's any other option or something else we can move around, but to me, it seems like we're swinging a lot on our residents at one time, and so I do have hesitancy in voting for an increase in this.
Okay. Well, if there's a motion, we can discuss it more, or I'll speak on it if not at the moment. I understand that. I think that the blue bags are not something you should be using a lot of, and I know that I have 3 kids who eat a lot of food and create a lot of junk, and I think I use a blue bag maybe once a year. And it should not be something that people are defaulting to, and if they do, I don't think the town should pay for it. And that's, if we're making a losing proposition, that's putting the burden on other people. And I don't think that that's fair. And $60,000 is, we have an incredibly tight budget. There's better things we could spend that money on, I think. So that's where I'm coming from. If there's not a motion on the table, I'll make it myself.
I just have one quick question. So if we don't increase from $2 to $3, will the town take a loss?
Yep.
So we will lose money.
Yep, 94 cents a bag.
Okay.
Yeah, Lynn sent out the math, so I think it's.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what the math,
whatever
the
it is.
exact amount was. Okay.
It's $2 just to dispose of it, right? Or picking up and disposing is over $2 per bag.
Yeah, the new bag production is 42 cents a bag, and so I'm sorry. To produce, collect, and dispose of the contents is $2.94.
Right, and we have a breakdown of it. I know the bags themselves are very cheap, but because now we're paying for someone to get off the truck, pick it up, and then we have to pay for it on the other end too. So, Vineeth, I certainly, I know you're trying to think of everyone, but I think that's thinking of a few super users that I think can pay the extra $1.
The only thing I might add to this, just as a way I think about it sometimes, is if you were to increase the cost, it would probably increase people's motivation to recycle. You know, I, until recently, had a family of 6. I've never used a blue bag, but what happened when we got the smaller black bins, you know, family of 2 and a family of 6 got the same size trash bin, we just started recycling like crazy, essentially, because we were super motivated to just, you know, do that. So maybe that is a side benefit, like environmentally and recycling profit-wise, of doing this.
Yeah, and I would, I don't know if there's like another option, if there's something else that we could potentially move around or do to, at least have this something that's maybe previewed a little bit more, where people will know that this is coming with more of like a heads up. Where we maybe institute this next year and don't do this immediately, but yeah, I don't know if there's something we can move around or do, or if we need to take the vote tonight, obviously someone can make that motion. But
Well, I will also tell you what's probably going to happen is word will get out that they're going to $3 and there's going to be a run on $2 bags.
I already got them all.
You can sell it for $2.95. I'll move we set the rate per bag to $3.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? All those opposed? Sorry, one.
She
Any
voted
abstentions?
affirmative. No, she voted for affirmative.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see. Out of the corner of my eye, thank you. Okay, and anything else on that, Lynn?
No.
Okay. We're moving on next to Select Board Liaison Assignments. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so attached to the agenda are the current assignments. All of the ones that are left blank were roles that were held by Mark Gold previously. Typically in the past, the board has just discussed moving around some of these liaison assignments or asking the new member if they would like to take on some of those roles. But we do have a suggestion for the Metropolitan Planning Organization as well as the PVTA, Pioneer Valley Transit Authority. It does not have to be a select board member. And actually for the MPO, Tim Keene currently attends all of the meetings. Our suggestion would be to appoint town engineer Tim Keene to the Metropolitan Planning Organization on the town's behalf.
And then PVTA, we would suggest Lynn, correct?
Yeah, either Lynn or myself, whoever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Have you been to the meetings?
I haven't attended yet.
Okay. I hadn't thought about that. That's an interesting idea. Okay. Well, Shelley, did anything catch your eye? Any boards you'd like to? Well, actually,
Or are you okay with just taking over Mark's?
Yeah,
Mark's
actually,
positions?
I got locked out in my thing called.
Here you
Can I
go.
look at that
Yeah.
real quick? Thank you. I think I was okay with it when I looked at it. I didn't have any.
And there are a few on here that we're going to be taking off. So, like for instance, the Capital Planning Climate Resilient Working Group, that was a committee, like a task force at the time. So that's going to be coming out. Long Range Plan Steering Committee, the bulk of that work is done. That's also going to be coming out.
Is the tasking task force? Is that anything happening
I
with
think
that?
that also needs to be removed.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have to do it at some point, but yeah. Okay.
Could recreate the task force when it's necessary.
Yeah.
And I will pass on a request from Andrea Chasen for the Energy and Sustainability Committee. She asked if we could appoint someone who would be able to attend every meeting, which I don't know when they meet, but that's, and I will say what I said to her, that my understanding of a liaison is not somebody who goes to every meeting. You can if you want, and Shelley, this is for your benefit more than anybody. I think of the liaison as, I'm here to ask questions. You may go occasionally to pop in, but go introduce yourself, say if you have any meetings. I'm willing to take information to the select board. Some members in the past have taken a more active role. There's also occasionally been confusion. I know Dan had this, where there's confusion over if you're a voting member or not of the committee that you're a liaison to. You are not. But that has come up as has been some confusion in the past. So if anyone feels that they are unable or would be able to attend every meeting, no slight against you.
No.
That is something she asked. That's not something that I would be able to do, I think. But if anybody wanted to volunteer, or Shelley, you wanted to give that a shot?
How often do they meet?
Once a month.
Do we know what day?
So it kind of moves around.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been the challenge. That's challenging.
Yeah. So one suggestion that I was going to throw out there was, I thought that it might make sense if, because of the work that I've been doing with fiber, to maybe take on the Cable Advisory Committee role in case if something comes up with that, or
I was
there's,
actually thinking
talks
that
with
as well.
that. So, and then Shelley, if you're taking over Mark's roles, I do think that it would make sense to have the same liaison or be assigned to the Recycling Commission and the Energy and Sustainability Committee. So that could be kind of a way to make that work. And then also, looking at this list, we should be getting rid of the Building Committee, correct?
Yeah,
because that's now
Building and
together with
capital will eventually
planning.
be reforming into one.
Okay. Yep.
I think that makes sense. I like your energy and sustainability. I mean, my undergraduate degree was environmental science and chemistry, so they kind of did make sense.
There we go.
I don't mind doing that. And I can talk with Andrea, especially if she doesn't care if there's meetings I can Zoom into. I think I could probably make that work.
So that, and Dan, is there anything you had your eye on with long-range planning coming off the board?
No, I mean, I was kind of interested in PVTA or I guess what Mike you were talking about earlier.
Or the MPO.
But I'm totally cool if that's if we want to go that route. But other than that, I don't really see anything else. I really like the committees that I'm on currently.
And then for the PVTA, do we need to specifically assign either you or Mike for that?
We should.
Or does it have to, or is it just kind of like a town staff can be?
I think it should be town manager or assistant town manager. However, if Dan really wants it, we don't need to take it. That we're just offering it up to, I looked at the composition of both MPO and PVTA, and there are a lot of designees. It's not all elected officials.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about the Scantic Valley Regional Health Trust, but
Right.
that was also a board member previously. So
Yeah, and that is not a voting member, I don't believe.
I don't believe so. It's just liaison role.
Do we need to vote to assign you that liaison role? Or is it just like?
You probably should.
Yeah, for the MPO and the PVTA, you probably should have a vote.
I wonder if we want to put in our suggestions and then vote at the next meeting. I know we've already pushed this off once, but a lot of the committees don't even meet over the summer. So I think maybe we should, then we can take a look at it. Everyone can do their numbers. Andrew, was there any changes you wanted to make, or you're happy with? Okay.
I'm fine with whatever is decided.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So maybe we can take off what's coming off.
Yep.
Put in Shelley, and then the other conversations that we had here.
What I could do is I could take all the feedback. We can go back and we can edit
Yeah.
the spreadsheet, and then we can bring it back to the next meeting with all the names plugged in where, and then if we need to make some tweaks at the August 18th meeting, we can make it then. But you're absolutely right. I don't think anything's going to be happening until September anyway, so I think we're good to do that.
And I think that makes sense to have Tim Keene as the liaison to the MPO.
So they're a non-voting member. That's just informational.
Right.
Really, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, I do believe Mark had a voting seat that is not specific to Long Meadow, and that expires next month anyway.
Okay.
And Scantic Valley, we can look at that too. Ian also attends all those meetings, so he could be your liaison there, and he would just report back to you
Okay.
what happens.
All right. Great. Everyone happy with that?
What's the solar working group? That's coming off, or is it?
It probably should come off. We
Based on what we heard from Mr. Kaniska.
there is no. The group paused almost 2 years ago now because of the net metering agreements that were drastically needing to be updated.
And along those lines, I think that the tax ceiling task force should probably also be dissolved, because if that comes back, it'll probably come back in a different form, and it'd just be better to start clean.
All right, so you probably have to go back through the notes, but we'll figure it out.
We'll go through it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the Select Board Rules and Procedures Review. So this was I pushed to put this on because, one, I think I was the only person on the board when this was adopted, and it was maybe my first meeting, so I didn't really know what we were doing. So this was adopted in April 2021, and I recently, I asked Lynn, because I think the agenda, I go to a lot of meetings in other jurisdictions, and I see meeting structures, the agendas themselves that I think work better. And I would like us to just consider moving things around, and mostly with the idea of getting more resident feedback and also allowing people to be at the meetings for when they may be called up. So that was the initial reason why I brought this up. And then when I read it, I said, oh, there's some things we are not following in here. There's some things that we may not want to follow, but I thought we should at least talk about them, and so everyone will know about it. And also one of the things it says in here is that new members are supposed to get a copy of this, and I know that hasn't happened. So we should start doing that for sure, but I wanted everyone to take a look at this, and maybe we can do some revisions. My suggestions are in here. The highlighted things I put on there are really for us to discuss if we want to change it or just to bring it to our attention. But I'll direct you to the section 3, which was the initial reason why I brought all this up. So announcements, resident comments, interviews, select board comments, I think that those are in the right place. And public hearings are also in the right place. I think it looks like a track changes just because maybe the formatting changed. But I think resident applications, we've had a number of meetings. We've been here 4 hours, and at the end, we do a street closure, and the person's been waiting here the whole time. I feel terrible about that. So I think we should move that up. Also, I think correspondence is something that I think in our town gets short shrift. It's at the very end of our meeting, and is often an afterthought, and I don't think it should be. So I think we should move that up. And we may say, does anybody have anything to say about the correspondence? The answer may be no, but at least it's early, and we're not tired. We can look at it, and it gives people, I think people want to feel like they're being heard, and so I think that's the way to do it. Other than that, there's really no change. The rest of it's not changed. But I think just pulling out those few things, moving them up is important. And then the other things that are highlighted are the emergency meetings. I think we have not followed that, where if we have an emergency meeting, we have to vote on it at the next meeting to ratify that. I think that's a smart practice. We can delegate information if we know something's going to come up before our next meeting, and it's something that normally we would say, let's just have a special meeting where all 5 of us, or at least get a quorum. If we can just delegate that to the chair, we know you can all vote to say, all right, we want you to do this if it comes up. I think that makes a lot of sense. Not that I'm saying I want you to delegate anything to me, but it's good to know that, because in the past we've done a special meeting when maybe we haven't needed to. On G1 or G5 in section 2, that is a more formal way of getting an item added to the agenda. Right now, and Shelley may not know this, if you wanted something added to the agenda, you just email me and probably put it on. But if I said no, or you wanted to do it in open session, you can do it this way. So that's a way to move. This is something that Lynn and I had talked about a couple times on 3H, that communications that are to all of us, but are not, they're not to the select board email or not physically mailed to town hall, should still be included under correspondence. And we have there's actually an example of that on this agenda. We'll get to that later. And then I made a number of just grammatical changes. And then at the bottom of page 6, this is something that I think we have kind of used interchangeably, abstention and abstain. And I suggested a change to this on how we count the votes when there is an abstention or a vote of abstain. So everyone should just take a look at that. And then time limits, if we want to do that for a section of public hearing. I don't think we have enough public hearings to really need to do that, but it is something that may be available if we have a really contentious tree hearing or something like that. And then also for public hearings on page 8, this gives a way for people to send in public written comments on public hearings. We do often hear from people who would like to come to public hearings but may not make it. And so this gives an ability to read in a comment. And then the page 9 has some information on the minutes and how they're the minutes as soon as they're done. We approve them later. This is something that Mark has talked about a number of times, but it is correct. So that's just more procedure information for us. And then I keep saying secretary of the board, so we got to fix that. And then I believe finally, we can reconsider votes. If you're on the winning or losing side of a vote, you can ask for it to be reconsidered, and it has to come back up at a later meeting. And then finally, these procedures should be reviewed every year, and that's just something to keep in mind. So that was a lot. I don't think I necessarily need to vote on, or we should vote on this today. But if there's anything else that anybody else caught in their review, this has just been something I think that we should address for a while. And so if there's any other comments, absolutely have at it.
Yeah, thank you for your work on this. I think these are really a lot of great updates, and I assume some of these practices you've probably seen from attending other select board meetings in other towns. And
it's really, that was just moving the agenda around. The other things are a bit, but yeah, it's really the agenda I think is important.
Yeah, and for the agenda, I think this is something that we've always talked about, but just have never just done. But I think you're exactly right in thinking about moving some of these items where folks, residents are coming to speak to us. I think that in keeping with that spirit, it also might make sense to move the presentations guest speakers up, at least maybe before or before correspondence, like right after resident applications and correspondence, just because that too, we have usually contractors, folks, and they're coming to present, or even a
committee.
Yeah, committee, and just to not make them wait around for too long, I think might make sense. And then the other thing that I wanted to ask about was just right above it, number 5, with the select board being able to, a select board member kind of being able to initiate or trigger an agenda topic to be included. For me, it feels maybe a little bit too disruptive to have that agenda item added for that meeting.
I assumed it would be for the following meeting?
Would it be? Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Because the public wouldn't be aware of it?
Right, and that might be like I don't know if that's like an open meeting law issue, and so if that vote can happen, then it would be added to the next meeting.
Oh,
I think
that's covered somewhere else, isn't it?
I think that's what that section says, but it's confusing the way it's currently written. I think what it's saying is they can make a request during select board comments at the beginning of the meeting, and the item should be added to the agenda if agreed. Oh, but maybe because it says by a majority vote of the select board, maybe it was intending to be for that meeting. That's a good point.
But it says, but not for a vote in the parentheses in the first sentence. It says it can be discussed, just not for a vote.
Yeah, that's a good point. So because the agenda says other items not reasonably anticipated, I guess that could be that. But if it's something important, we want it on the agenda in advance, 3 days in advance. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. So yeah, I think both of those are good suggestions. Moving up presentations after resident applications would be good. And so added to the next agenda under 5.
Okay.
Josh, can you just go ahead, Lynn.
No, go ahead.
Just regarding reconsideration of votes, could you just give me the thinking behind that? So scenarios that you've seen in which the board has voted, and then why would there be a immediate change?
No idea. I don't know why this.
You just saw that somewhere?
No,
what do you mean?
No. This was in from 2021.
Is the highlighted? Oh yeah. So you're just highlighting what was in there.
I see. That was already in there. I highlighted and said, let's talk.
I'm sorry, you didn't
this.
add that.
No.
You just are highlighting it for us. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know because
Because if there's, I can understand, like, okay, maybe someone says we have more information, but why wouldn't that question about more information come up during the discussion, essentially? So I'm not sure why. I'm just trying to imagine why this was in there then, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. We'd have to go back to 2021 to figure it out. Maybe, I guess if facts come up, but that would be facts during the same meeting. Yeah,
Right.
It doesn't really, it's not really a
And then
plausible
also,
scenario.
you just make a movement to reconsider the votes, but the same people who just decided what was decided, why would they want to reconsider it either? I must be missing some scenario that this is important
I
for.
wonder if it's intended to be because if somebody makes an additional motion, but
Yeah, and I don't remember. So, full disclosure, I created this in 2021. We didn't have anything that guided how meetings were run. It was the first attempt to it, and we should have brought it back a lot sooner. If you don't have this in there, it doesn't mean there's no minority reconsideration. You default to Robert's rules at that point. So you can take it out, but this may add more clarity if we just tweak the wording better. It hasn't been used this entire time I've been here.
Well, yeah, and if you're on the voting with the majority, why would you ever move for reconsideration unless you had a change of heart?
I'm not actually saying to take it out. I just wanted to understand why it's in there, and I've literally thought about this for 30 seconds. So there must have been there must be some scenario in which this is helpful.
You're reconsidering the trash bag vote.
Yeah, I guess that would be it.
Because I got a text from my wife or
Yeah,
something,
you got a
right?
dirty- a dirty look from
Hey,
someone
everybody, I
else.
got a text from my wife. Like, oh, let's do it.
Yeah, I don't see, I guess we don't need to take it out, but I don't know why it's in there. And
I mean,
can't think
even
of it.
if, let's say this wasn't in here, and you wanted, let's say there was something that we needed to change our mind on, you could just move to make a motion to do that thing.
Right.
So.
Or rescind our vote, which we
could do that
have
too,
done
right?
many times, so, yeah.
The only one you didn't cover and I wanted to talk about was under page 2, under special meetings, I think. So I do know why that's in there, and I'm not sure if you highlighted it because you wanted to take it out. This is section 2C.
I think I actually highlighted that one just to
did?
discuss it.
Oh, okay.
Because of when we took, but then we talked afterwards.
Oh, then never mind.
Oh, no, I think I might have, because that's not how we have done it.
Right, and I just wanted to make sure you weren't proposing to remove it completely.
No, I was just,
Okay.
because we have not done petitions, and I wonder if we want to do that to follow our own rules, because we have done it by majority vote, but not by signing a petition.
Well, this is saying if the chair doesn't call it.
Oh, I see. Oh, right.
So if the chair refuses to call a special meeting, there's a mechanism to get that meeting scheduled
Okay.
without the chair. Maybe we change the word petition to letter or,
Well, I mean, either way, yeah, so you're right. So, if I'd say, no, I don't think that's important, and the other four can write a petition and do it, yeah, I think that's right.
The only section I want to point out is the written communication. It happens in rare occasions that we're also not CC'd on the email, or if it's not sent to the select board alias, but I would just ask that if you do get an email that's sent to everyone and we're not on it, just forward it to us right away, and then it'll make that next meeting's agenda. If it just happens to miss that agenda, we'll just make sure it gets on to the next one. That's, to Josh's point, that's what happened with the letter from the Freedom from Religion.
Which did come in a written letter later.
Yes. And it was weird timing, too, because we had the June 16th meeting, and it came like June 12th or something like that, so it missed the agenda posting. So there's just some timing issues that happens with that as well.
So what if it's three? So if if there's a majority, though, is that I had always
Yeah, it has to be if it's sent to the majority of the board,
okay,
not just all
majority,
four
not
members.
okay, because I thought I read that it was all of
this
the board.
says all.
No, it does.
It says all.
I'm
That's
sorry, I
why.
misspoke.
So if you guys get to decide if you want it to be majority, we can change it.
Yep.
I mean, I don't, personally, I don't care, but I just know from like day one when I got on the board that it was if it was the majority. Maybe that's because it was people on the board saying that it has to be correspondence.
That's a good point. What's happened in the past is when something has been sent to the majority of the vote, to the board, occasionally sometimes people have sent me the message and say, can you please post this as correspondence? But it's been upon request. It hasn't been like an initiative of mine to take if I only saw 2 members were on the board. I wouldn't just go ahead and post it. I would make sure that somebody requested that.
Gotcha.
Oh, and I just saw it. Beneath your point before, I just lost it again. It says items requested to be placed on the agenda will be on at the next meeting, which is, so we have a kind of an internal conflict there. Let's see.
Just one point I would, regarding what Dan and Mike were just talking about. I think that if it's truly up to us to decide, I just kind of worry if if a town resident writes a message to 3 people, maybe not intending for their message to be public. So if we are kind of doing the status quo where if they say, please add to correspondence, it is, then that might avoid any unintended, information that person may not want to make public. Certainly if it's all 5 of us, that makes total sense. They clearly want everyone to know. Just my 2 cents. I don't know. I mean, I think I would just worry. I don't think people are aware of this, but they might know 3 members and just want to write. Just throwing that out there.
It also works the other way. There's people that just being on the board, some people that we know, and they'll just purposely do that because they know that it'll be on correspondence too. So.
Oh, to add 3 people, not 5, because they wanted to be on correspondence.
Because they want it to be on correspondence, So I mean, I think I can see it both ways. And anybody who's sending an email to a town employee email address, you should know that it's public record. So.
Yeah. Sorry. I was going to say, and the way that I kind of understood this was that, it's almost as if someone were to email just one of us individually, but we're addressing it to the select board.
Oh, that's another scenario, huh?
That should be something that should be included in correspondence.
Yes.
We do run into that issue quite a bit where it says,
"Dear Select Board."
Yeah, and sent to one person.
And especially when I was chair, I think that would happen a lot where people would just want the chair's email address, but they would want it to be for the whole select board.
Yeah. And that was the premise of creating the select board email account, so that there was a grouping to have all those emails go into.
And just, so I knew something clicked in my head when Vineeth brought up the question before. So on page 5, 3B says items shall be placed on the next agenda, and items requested by a select board member at a public meeting are to be placed on the subsequent meeting agenda. That's D. So I think that's in conflict with the requesting, or clarifies it, I guess. But we don't need both, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's and where is it?
Page 3.
Yeah. So on page, was it page 3? I don't know. Whatever we were talking about before.
5, I think. Yeah. Well, it's page 4, numeral 5.
Yeah.
And then just going down a page, then we're talking about B and D. And I don't know, maybe just kind of consolidating all of that.
Right. Yeah. So whatever. Have at it, make it clear that it'll be on the next meeting. Yeah, so anybody else on this? I hope everyone had as much enjoyment looking at it as I did. I think hopefully it'll be helpful going forward that we've looked at this again.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, it was helpful to read.
All right, great. And next, under new business, we have a Longmeadow Street Center School Carnival road closure application.
I will move to approve the Center School PTO's road closure application for September 19th with a rain date of September 26th at Center School from 3:15 to 6:30.
Second.
Anything else? All those in favor? Okay, next.
I move to approve the Stores Libraries street closure application for an event on October 26th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. to close the area in front of the community house on Longmeadow Street, east of the Green.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, next up, we have 3 one-day liquor license applications from the LACCF.
Great. And I will move to approve the LACCF's 3 one-day liquor license applications for events to be held on August 7th, August 21st, and August 28th.
Second.
Anything further? Are these all in order, Mike?
Correct, yes,
Right.
they are.
Okay. All those in favor? And then we have an application from, for Sokol, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Coffee Roasters. Do we have anybody speaking to this?
They're not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're here. I believe they were given the meeting notice, but yeah, I'm not sure that they were. I'm not sure they were able to attend. Yeah, this was part of the correspondence packet from I think 2 meetings ago, and then we were waiting for them to get their paperwork in to submit a similar request as Poor Things did in the past. I don't know if you would like them here to obviously speak to the application. That would probably be helpful, but they did submit a pretty detailed memo in terms of what they were looking to do, consistent with what I think we had Poor Things do a couple years ago. The only thing that I think maybe we need to consider in the future is just figuring out if we need to have a policy about locations, as well as how many events are happening at the same time that are not permitted in a large-scale event festival setting, because we run into that issue quite a bit, where I think Chair Levine had the suggestion of putting this information on the website so that people know that if they are requesting an event outside of or they are requesting a food cart outside of an event like Long Meadow Days or the Pride Festival, there is a mechanism for getting that approved. So I think we do need to put out some additional information on that in the future.
Yeah, and what Mike and I talked about this a bit, because I am worried that without guidance for people and maybe a policy for us, do we want five carts and 2 coffee carts and 3 food trucks at Bliss Park? Maybe, but do we want that every Saturday? Maybe not. And so that's something I think we should think about, and not necessarily in context of this, but that's something I think that I just wanted to bring to the board's attention, that I think, I love Poor Things. I'm there all the time. I think it's great that we have another, some new folks who want to do a coffee cart or a coffee tent. That's great, but how do we want to handle it going forward? Some towns do it very successfully, but the places that we have control over, at least, are small and maybe not the best suited for this. On this application as well, I would like to speak with them, because the Barnard parcel, which is over by Bark Hall, which is down at the bottom of Long Meadow Street, that makes me a little nervous just thinking about that one spot, because people fly down there, and if all of a sudden they see, ooh, there's coffee, and they try to pull out, that just makes me a little nervous. So there's some conversations, and some other places I'd like to have a conversation with the applicants about what their setup is and how they anticipate getting set up and hours, etc. So I would like to talk to them, but if anybody feels otherwise, we can move forward. Okay.
No, yeah, I agree. I think that they need to be here. I think we need to talk about it.
Was that one of the approved zones down in Barnard, off of Long Meadow Street for Poor Things?
No.
Okay, so that they had added another.
Yeah, they have a few different places, like the old town hall.
Right.
Some other places. I know Wolf, or Poor Things has Wolf Swamp, but I don't know if they're out there very often.
Yeah, it's Lynn Tennis Courts, Bliss Park, area in front of the community house, with the exception of election days. I may be missing a few. Wolf Swamp. And then the area by Merkin's Cleaners as well.
Oh.
I'm not sure they use
Tennis
that
courts,
spot.
Blinn Courts.
Blinn Courts, yeah.
Did this get run by police?
Yeah, we put out a preliminary feeler for the locations, and initially there was no issue with the locations that were approved for Poor Things as well. So now we just have to, I think after this conversation, we're just gonna have to look into some of those other locations.
Okay. Great. Yeah, we'll reach out to them again and see if they can make the next meeting. Okay. Great. So let's move on to planning board vacancy appointment process. Mike or Lynn?
Yeah, I can speak to that. So this is just pretty much on the agenda just to kick off the process that's pretty much under Mass General Law for appointment to the planning board if there's a vacant position. So what I would suggest, I think I included a memo, let me just, with a draft posting, but I just wanted some feedback as to how you guys felt with having interviews at the next meeting or not starting until September, because of the fact that maybe if you put out a vacancy, call for applicants right now, maybe you don't get a full slew of applicants because it's the summer. You could announce that applications are open now. We have enough time to get people in for the August 18th meeting, make that a joint meeting with the planning board, but I do know we may have an issue with a quorum of the planning board then.
They don't normally meet all summer, right?
Yeah, well, they met in July, they canceled their August meeting, and they don't meet again until September 3rd. So what you could technically do is you could have a joint meeting on September 2nd, and then on September 16th have another joint meeting to appoint if you are favorable of the applicants. So if you want to interview on, I think I put September 3rd, but it's really Tuesday, September 2nd. Sorry about that. Tuesday, September 2nd for the interview with the planning board. Then I could put out a posting sometime beginning of August or even later.
So how does everyone feel about August 27th as a deadline for applications?
Do we normally have good response in that? I mean, that time frame, or?
Well, summer is a weird time. Although that's when a lot of the applications for boards and committees happen. I will say, this is how I got on the planning board. I was initially appointed, and it is, it's kind of a specialized enough thing, I think, that if you're interested in it, you'll probably find out about it. But you also, if you're gone all summer, you might miss the application. You might miss it completely. So I don't want to hold up their work, but they still have 4, and they have important things coming up. But I think I'd rather make sure we have enough time to get people to hear.
Is it ever possible if we did say August 27th and then we didn't get enough, can we vote to extend the time period to look, or does it not work that way?
I think if we didn't get anything, we'd have to repost.
Yeah, if we didn't get anything, we'd have to repost. Yeah, I'd have to look into that if there's any stipulations in that section of Mass General Law when it needs to be posted. But this lines up with how we've done it in the past when there was a vacancy, so I just kind of base it off of that. But I agree with the board's sentiment on applicants in the summer and not being able to maybe get a full array of applicants.
I think that, all the folks may not be physically in Longmeadow. I think that folks are still connected to what's going on through social media and, and everything else. So I don't think that would hurt for us to open this up for right now and just see how many folks we get. And if it really feels like we didn't get anyone, or maybe it didn't feel sufficient in some way, we could revisit it. But I do think that it's important for the planning board to move on and move forward and be fully functioning again. And so I don't know if it'll be that much of a hindrance if we're opening this up. I mean, this is going to be more than a month where people can see it and apply.
I like that, especially if we have the option, if we get like 1 or 2 applicants, we can always discuss extending it. I think we can open it up soon.
And I think this, we actually didn't end up making an appointment, but I think this happened last year with Housing Authority, where we opened up a window, didn't actually get anyone to apply during that time, and then opened up the window again, got people. They didn't end up interviewing, but that's kind of how it worked last year.
That's a good point, and I think you're right. It convinced me, because that is the planning board has a lot of attention on it now with the church coming up. So I think that is the word will get out. I think I've already talked to some people about applying as well. So I think it's reasonable.
Not having been part of appointing someone on the planning board, are there certain criteria you have to have, or is it much like the boards we heard today, where people show their interest, fill out the application?
As long as you're a registered voter.
Okay.
There's no statutory limits on planning board.
Okay.
It doesn't have to have a certain makeup.
Thank you.
I mean, the attractive thing too is the seat is up right next year. So
I think it always expires at the
all
next-
vacancies on elected boards expire at the next term of the election.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a good way to dip your toe, isn't it? All right, well, I'm convinced. Take a motion if we're ready. Or Mike Howard?
I don't even think we need to vote on it, unless you want to, but it's really just letting me know internally what I need to do to post it, and then schedule the interviews and work with the planning board. So you could take a procedural vote, but it's really not necessary in my opinion.
All right.
Looks
Fine.
good to me.
All right, great. Thanks, Mike. Special town meeting and ballot question for middle school building.
Thanks. So I was hoping to have the actual language for you tonight. I've sent it off to the MSBA. They need to approve it. Once they approve it, it will then go to bond council. MSBA is first. They told me they'd need a week with it. That was a week, so I don't have it back yet. I have already sent it to bond council just in the event that it comes back from MSBA with no changes, and bond council was fine with it. So I will have language for you August 18th. You'll vote that night, and then we'll start processing the warrant, and the town clerk will order ballots.
So that's plenty of time?
Yeah.
August 18th? Okay.
Yep.
Great. All right, moving on to municipal fiber. Is this Beneath?
Yeah, thank you. So, Fiber Spring has completed the design and engineering for the town of Long Meadow, and they will be coming to present at a future meeting. And once they present to the select board their design and engineering plan, the select board can start to make decisions about how to go about the build out and how to decide where to construct, how to finance it, on all of those things. So what I'm kind of bringing to the board tonight is what we've seen other communities do, is we've seen them open up web pages where people can express interest in signing up for Long Meadow Fiber, or the equivalent when it becomes available. And there are a lot of different factors in how you can plan and stage a build out, but one of the factors I think that is important is building out in neighborhoods that are showing a lot of interest, because there will be a delay from when construction begins to when the first homes are connected, where the town will be on the hook for those costs in that time. Once homes start being connected, then of course those monthly subscription fees will start to pay for the borrowing. But what I would like to do is kind of minimize the amount that the town is on the hook for in the beginning. And so, there are a lot of different factors that go into how you want to stage a build out. There are, the Fiber Spring has divided our town into, I think it's about 27 different fiber hoods, where each fiber hood has a fiber distribution cabinet. And there are, different ways that, different neighborhoods can kind of be connected to each other. Some neighborhoods are going to be more expensive because they are underground, some are aerial, but we can start to really take a look at, where it might make sense to start the build out. And when Fiber Spring comes to present, they will offer, some of the things that they've seen in different communities. Some communities have not, I guess, weighed that initial interest as heavily, and they focus more on just building out in high visibility areas where, homes located next to shopping areas or parks, people that, where people frequent. That once a home gets connected, they'll put a yard sign out front saying we're connected to Long Meadow Fiber, and that's just a way to kind of build word of mouth and build trust. But I think that those are things that we should think about and we should consider. But it would be great to have kind of a data point of places that show initial interests that are really high. And I think when Westfield first started doing this with Whip City, they almost kind of it became kind of a competition in the town of which neighborhoods signed up the most people. They would go and build out at those neighborhoods. And so Fiber Spring has this webpage that's already ready to go live, where folks can sign up. This creates no obligation if you sign up. What it will say on that webpage is that this will help the select board in planning the build out of Long Meadow Fiber, that this creates no obligation, that by signing up, what will happen is that you will just be contacted when Long Meadow Fiber becomes available in your neighborhood. And I think so that then, we can kind of push that out on social media or wherever else, do a press release and just start gaining some of that data, and then just give it enough time for that to go live for people to see it before we start really talking about it.
Okay. Any questions? Oh, all right. Thank you, Vineeth, as always, for your work on the fiber. We appreciate it. All right. Next up is HB 2330, an act relative to equitable representation. Who's speaking on this, Lynn?
Sure, I can to the extent I know. Late last week, we were contacted by Senator Oliveira's office just to make us aware of this bill that was submitted. It was submitted by Representative Saunders, and essentially it's a bill to require representation from the communities that buy water from Springfield Water and Sewer Commission. They're looking for support letters from the communities that are part of Springfield Water and Sewer Commission. The draft letter is attached to this agenda. There is a hearing tomorrow. You don't need to vote tonight if you don't want. It just means we wouldn't submit a support letter in time for the hearing. We could do it at a different meeting. I've read the legislation. I think it makes sense. It actually reminds me a lot of what we are trying to do with the Hampden County Regional Retirement System. And so I'm hopeful that if something like this goes forward, that maybe we have some hope for the Hampden County legislation. I do think that communities are wanting a voice and a seat at the table when these massive projects for such a vital resource are getting more and more expensive, and they want to be involved from the get-go. And I think we've struggled enough here to get that information from Springfield Water and Sewer. It would be much nicer if we were there while they were talking about this stuff.
So just for my understanding, is it 4 people from Springfield and 3 from other towns? I know 3 are appointed by the mayor. But
right now or moving forward?
No, under this legislation.
Let me pull it up.
I don't know if you had another conversation.
I have had no conversations on this at all.
Because I think effectively it would still be Springfield because it's.
It says that no more than 4 board members may reside.
And 4 are appointed by the mayor to serve at the same time as the mayor. So I think Springfield would still have final say, but there would be an advisory board made of people from other communities like Longmeadow, and then they would vote to appoint the other 3. So Springfield would still run the show, but we could at least either have a direct voice or a voice in appointing the voice to have a say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is really important. I'm okay if we wait till the next meeting if we want to vote on it, if we want more information. But this is something that, as water and sewer commissioners, I know it's frustrating for me, and it's frustrating for everyone else, and it'll be frustrating for you, Shelley, that we are told what's happening in Springfield, and that's that. And it would be nice to be able to be in the room and have at least some sort of say. And so if we want to do it now, I think that's great. If not, we can wait. But this is very important, and I'm glad that Senator Oliveira's, or was it
Rep. Saunders.
No, sorry, that brought it to our attention.
Yes,
it was Devin, right? Yeah.
Yes.
To bring it to our attention, I think that's great. So absolutely want to move forward, and I'm glad that Saunders had brought it forward. It's very important. So if we want to move tonight to sign the letter, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, and I'll say that I'm also very supportive of this. I think it's really important, and with the hearing being tomorrow, I think that I would be also in favor of taking a vote tonight to offer our support. And so with that, I'll make a motion to support or to adopt or approve to do the support letter to legislation sponsored by Representative Aaron Saunders.
Second.
All right, anything further? All those in favor? Do we have a copy of that sign, or you just want to do electronic?
I can put on the electronic signatures. The only person I don't have electronic signatures for you, so do you have time to stop in tomorrow to sign it? Or
I think so.
yeah, if not,
Does it matter like what time?
no, just any time in the morning. I think
Okay.
like after 8:15 would work.
Okay.
Okay, then we have ratification of collective bargaining agreements.
Great, thank you. So tonight, I have for you the police supervisor, police patrol, and clerical. Just for the public watching, we did have an executive session before this meeting where I was able to go into a lot of detail on the status of those negotiations. And the reason that we're able to bring this into out of executive session and into open session is because the agreements, those three that I mentioned, police supervisor, police patrol, and clerical, have all been ratified by the unions, discussed in executive session by the select board, voted affirmatively in executive session by select board, and it's now here in open session. The DPW is not here tonight because they have not ratified yet. Their vote is scheduled for later this week, and that will come forward to the select board at the August 18th meeting. So the big changes for police supervisor and police patrol were, after looking at comparative salaries for other communities, we did make adjustments to the salary scale. This is the first time in almost 10 years that we've made a significant adjustment. They also are receiving cost of living assessments, and there's some changes related to body cameras. If the town were ever to pursue that, that language is now included in their contract. There's recognition of the post certification, and that was tied in with the accreditation stipend that they were already receiving in prior contracts. All in all, it's a great contract for both the town and the unions, and I'm very happy that it's been ratified. The clerical union is a very, very small union. It only represents about 7 members. There were very little changes to it, just some longevity increases and COLAs, essentially. There really wasn't a lot that needed to be changed in their contract. And once these are voted by the select board, the memorandums of agreement will be posted to the town website while we incorporate all the changes into the successor contract.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Well, before moving, I just want to thank Lynn for her work on this, and I also just want to point to the importance of getting these contracts done and getting some of these wages adjusted. I think when we had this discussion about the firefighters union, and this was a contentious discussion, and what we've seen over the last year, as Lynn shared with us, was that we had seen no turnover in our fire department, which is a drastic change from what was happening before, where we were training folks and then just seeing them go off to neighboring towns. And when we're talking about public safety, and we're talking about first responders and keeping them in our community where they know our community really well and are here for decades, that makes such a big difference. And so I'm really happy to see that we are also now, making strides and significant progress with these police contracts as well. So with that, I will move to ratify the collective bargaining agreement with the police supervisors union.
Second.
Anything further? And beneath you, I often try to barrel through. Thank you for taking the time. I think this is one of the unsung things that Lynn does. That it's a really important part of the job that most people don't see, and we don't see it, but we hear more about it in our executive session. So thank you, Lynn. All right, if there's nothing further, we will vote. All those in favor?
And I will move to ratify the collective bargaining agreement with the police patrol union.
Second.
Anything further? All those in favor?
And I will move to ratify the collective bargaining agreement with the clerical union.
Second.
Anything further? All those in favor? Okay. Thank you. Moving on to correspondence. We have an energy and sustainability strategic plan that Andrea sent to us. And Mike, I know we already talked, but we'll get that on a future agenda. And then, if anyone, the letter from the Freedom from Religion Foundation, that originally came to us, it was addressed to all of us, and it missed the agenda because it came in by mail. And basically what it says is, it is asking us to take action on the town meeting vote to work on the steeple and the roof, to take part in the First Church and the renovation. And I asked Lynn about it, and from what I understand, and certainly correct me if I'm wrong, that vote, and I know that there was a memo that was was brought forward by the board, by the committee when they voted on it, because there's criteria in Massachusetts on what is impermissible funding of religion, and they looked into that, and there's some factors that come to whether it is a community project or if it's helping the community rather than promoting a religion, a particular religion. And so that there was a lot of thought that went into it when there was the vote, and then since this has come in, it has gone to town council, who has vetted what was done and does not think there's a reason to, or a need to respond. We can if we want, but we are okay if we don't. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the board and anyone watching. Anybody had anything to say on that? No? Great. And then I just want to point out two more things. There was an email on affordability of pool rates from Leah Boudreau that there were some discussions that happened among the town, and those pool rates have come down, and I know that in the future we will look at it as a board to, I think, kind of set goals on what we want the pool entry fees to do. So thank you for addressing. And then there's a couple emails back and forth from Kurt Friedman and Mark Gold on the municipal aggregation, and Kurt had some comments on the program. I thought Mark had a good response, and if people are, the opt-out period has passed, but if people are curious about some of the justifications and had questions, those are a good couple documents to look at. Anybody else in correspondence?
No, I would agree, though, that Mark's comments were actually very helpful. Even reading through it, I knew what I was making the selection, but I think they were helpful for people who maybe were confused. So I thought he did a really nice job laying out kind of the facts of the situation. So in case anyone wants to change their opt-in or opt-out, I thought it was good information.
From what I understand, there's also a lot of discussion on it on the open forum.
Yes, there is, exactly.
Not seen that, so.
Also, the email alias is super helpful. I had reached out. I had a lot of residents reaching out. I couldn't answer all the questions. I reached out to Lynn, but they were very timely and responsive and thorough. So I recommend leveraging that alias.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Dan. All right. Anybody else? All right. Anybody would like to move to adjourn?
I will move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.